All right, good morning.
Good morning.
It's News from the Roots on Mountain Stream TV. Today is Friday, May 4th, 2018. I'm Avram Friedman, and this morning I have a guest, Olivia Hicks, who is our intern, the Canary Coalition's intern this summer, and she'll be working with us until July 20th, did we say? Or
18th.
18th, okay. And so you'll probably be seeing Olivia again. She'll be doing videography for us and editing and other tasks, whatever is needed done in the office and around. And Olivia's got a very interesting history. She's a Duke Energy student and is studying at Duke right now. Before we get into that, I have to go through today's programming for a few minutes, and then we're going to start talking a little bit. So today, immediately following News from the Roots at 9:30, we'll be watching a citizens lobbying workshop. This is a workshop that actually I conducted in Asheville last year that talks about the workings of the state government, the General Assembly in North Carolina, and how citizens can impact pending legislation and help introduce legislation, and what's the most effective ways of doing that, different techniques that are used, as well as a basic civics course in how the state government works. This is something that's important right now because the North Carolina General Assembly will be coming into session on May 16th. It's the so-called short session of the General Assembly. We're on a two-session cycle in North Carolina. This system, the entire General Assembly is elected every 2 years, and during that period, there is scheduled a long session in the first year after they're elected, and then a short session to kind of finish up the business they started in the first session. And so we have a piece of legislation pending. We have actually two pieces of legislation pending in the General Assembly that were introduced by the Canary Coalition and its allies. One is the Efficient and Affordable Energy Rates Bill, and the other one is the We the People Act, North Carolina We the People Act, which would, if it passes, will create a referendum in the general election in 2018 that will allow people to vote on the issue of corporate personhood, and trying to send a message to Congress, to the U.S. Congress, that this state of North Carolina would like to join other states that are calling for a U.S. constitutional amendment that says that corporations are not people and money is not speech. And this is an important issue in North Carolina, specifically in North Carolina, because Duke Energy and the fossil fuel industry wields so much power in the North Carolina General Assembly, and so they're blocking environmental initiatives. In fact, they're rolling back environmental standards, and in order to make progress on environmental issues, we have to get the money out of politics and give that power back to the people where it belongs. So that's at 9:30, and then at 11:10 a.m. we'll be watching a climate conference that took place in Raleigh last year. And this is a long program. It involves 9 different speakers, fascinating issues, including one speaker, Dr. Robert Brooke, who is a scientist, and he went to the South Pole, the Antarctic, to study ice core evidence that proves without any doubt that climate change is real, and that it is the major cause of climate change is human activity. And so if you're interested in the science behind that, I know many people have seen Al Gore's movie, Inconvenient Truth, where they just he touches on the surface of that, but Brooke really gets down into that. And if you're interested, if you argue with people who deny climate change, you might be interested in watching this, because it's good to know the science behind it, and you can rebuff any nonsense arguments against it. Then at 4 o'clock, we'll be watching a climate march that took place in Franklin last year. Franklin is a small rural community in the mountains here in western North Carolina, and it's difficult to get a lot of people together to do anything, basically, but there were about 150 people who showed up, which is quite a large crowd, and it included the mayor and other public officials, and there was good music involved, and just it was an entertaining as well as informative event. So that will bring us to the end of our live stream at 5 p.m. This evening. Thanks for watching Mountain Stream TV, and we hope that you'll consider making a donation to the Canary Coalition. Mountain Stream TV is a project of the Canary Coalition, and you can do that by going to the top of mountainstream.tv on your web browser and hitting the donate button, or go to the Canary Coalition's website, which is canarycoalition.org, and hit the donate button there. Either way, it will go to the same place. We also accept checks and money orders. If you prefer to do it that way, you can write a check to the Canary Coalition and send it to P.O. Box 653 in Sylva, North Carolina, 28779, and Sylva is spelled S-Y-L-V-A. Olivia, again, welcome, and thank you for coming to the Canary Coalition and working with us this summer. So tell us a little bit about your history. You're the head of a film festival in
So my work consists of half and half, probably environmental science and film. Actually, a little bit more, maybe film and documentary work is what I've been into lately. But I study environmental science as a major, and with a certificate, which is just a minor in documentary. And this year I've been working at the Center for Documentary Studies as the assistant to the director, as well as I took on running my own film festival on Duke's campus, which we just had our 2-night screening a couple weeks ago. Wow. And it was a really great time, and I plan to continue with that for the next 2 years. So
we're so lucky to have you in that capacity, because we really need somebody with your expertise. What were some of the films that you viewed in this film festival?
So we had 36 submissions, and we only take from Duke students. So that's the part of it that kind of makes it a little bit more Duke related. And we want students to really submit. But some of my favorites, we had some documentaries about the environment. There was this one student that I'm friends with, actually, who went to the Mekong River, and he spent a gap year documenting people and places.
That's in Vietnam?
Yes.
Mekong Delta, yeah.
Yes, and so it was really great. His whole idea was how climate change is a very people issue. So I definitely enjoyed that one and fought for it to be in the festival. It was great quality, so there was no doubt about it. But we had a mix. There were some that were scripted, and people had these really funny comedy scripts. There were some that were just maybe for final projects, personal documentaries. We have a good collection of classes that are documentary and video related. So
were these time limited videos? I mean, did you only allow it to be so long, or
we wanted under 20 minutes?
Under 20 minutes, okay.
Yes. That way we could have a lot of films. They were all short films. Plus, Duke students, for the most part, don't have time to make feature length projects. So
are some of these videos available for public viewing? Like, would we be able to showcase some of them on Mountain Stream TV?
They're on the way. I have to upload them to our website soon, but at the end of the process, all of them will be up.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yes.
So we'll be able to watch some of the, what young film producers are making.
Definitely.
That's great. And so even before that, you were involved in video projects, and tell us a little bit about your history.
A lot of my history has been with photography. Coming to Duke, I knew that I wanted to do film and video, film and photography is what I was really interested in. So I took some classes in that area, and I did a photo documentary project on how declining bee populations are affecting local farmers. So I did some interviews at the local farmers market in Raleigh and back home in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Would you repeat that, please? What's affecting the local climate?
How declining bee populations are impacting local farmers. Wow. So it was a very interesting and enjoyable project. I love doing interviews. It was my first piece, so it's a little it's a little rusty. You know, not perfectly polished. But
How are farmers being impacted by declining bee populations?
a lot of them are having to contract with outside agencies to bring in, so bee farmers. I guess it does give them a little bit more of an industry, but they're bringing in bees and taking care of them on their properties to then pollinate. A lot of farmers had the advice of what pesticides to use and to really make sure you're spraying at appropriate times, to make sure you're using sprays that won't impact these bee populations, so you're not killing what's already there. But overall, it's just a cost burden, it seems like. But you know, we do have some amazing bee farmers that really do a great job of what they do. So that was encouraging as well. And I talked to several people in that industry as well.
That is interesting. I know. I mean, it's been a long time practice for. There's this whole migratory bee industry. But mostly, I guess it's on the West Coast. It may be on the East Coast too that I'm not aware of. But I know that they follow the season for fruits. And they actually truck in millions of bees in these big crates. I've seen this operation, and they go from Southern California and maybe even Mexico up to Washington State and into British Columbia for the apple crop at a certain time of the year. But what we're talking about in North Carolina is not so much the fruit industry. It's it's the tobacco industry?
No, it was fruit, produce, so lots of vegetables too. That was probably the main people who are doing fruits and vegetables.
And they have to bring in that is interesting. I wasn't aware of that at all. And what were some of the other documentaries that you had worked on?
I did a self-reflective documentary piece at the beginning of the year, which was consistent of photographs from sunrise to nightfall. Is kind of the times it was titled From Dusk Till Dawn. It had an accompanying documentary poetry piece, but it was a project that I made for myself. A lot of the times I feel like with documentary work, most of the time you're making it for other people, so I thought, this is going to be my time to make something for me to work on.
Was that a time-lapse type of thing?
No, it was photographs. So I photographed.
Oh, it was just photographs.
It was just photographs in different locations, and these different locations, for the most part, meant something to me. So that allowed what my written pieces were to really mesh with that well. So. Okay,
and so have you had much experience with videography itself? I mean,
I'm working on it. I'm growing in it, watching videos. With the film festival, we did a little bit making an intro video, but. It's an area I definitely want to grow in, and I'm excited to work for.
So, like, you aspire to be a film producer, or what are you? What's your major?
So my major is environmental science.
Okay.
And it's interesting. I came into college thinking I definitely want to do environmental photojournalism, maybe, so, National Geographic one day was really the goal. But the more I work on campus, the more I realize I'm very interested in documentaries. After running the film festival, I'm very interested in kind of the behind-the-scenes management of the festival as well. So, I'm not totally sure what my goal is right now. I could be a film producer. I could be a director of film festivals. I could still do environmental photojournalism or documentary.
As you're doing it.
I'd be happy either way. So.
And what year are you in?
A sophomore.
You're a sophomore,
Yes.
So you really you have time to decide.
Definitely.
Yeah, and the world is wide open to you. Which and of course Duke University is a great university.
Yeah.
It's kind of the Ivy League college of the South. So I've heard Duke students and faculty say that Harvard is the Duke of the North.
It's a great school. They offer a lot of things to students that I've gotten a lot of opportunities at Duke, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit more about after you leave this job, you're going to Australia, right?
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
I'll be doing a study abroad program in Australia. So it'll be for the rest of this fall semester, and I'll probably stay afterwards to do some traveling as well.
Yeah.
If I already have a plane ticket there, I might as well stay for a while, right?
So that's as an exchange student, or
Pretty much.
So you'll be getting credit for
Yes.
Duke, for your Duke education. Yeah.
I'll be taking classes there as a student at one of the universities, and a lot of those will be in kind of my focus area of environmental science, which is marine studies
Oh,
and
interesting.
marine conservation. Those are specifically the environments I think I want to work with in the future, with videography and photography. Which is, presents a whole other range of problems, with technology underwater. It's very interesting, but I'm excited to tackle that head on. But also with that, I'll be taking some video and film classes as well.
Is there any aspect of marine biology specifically that you're interested in?
I'm not sure yet. I grew up loving being in the ocean in a way that is different than a way I love being on land. Every chance I get, I want to be in the water. I just love that ecosystem, and I'm not totally sure where I want to work with that yet. I do know I really love sharks. I'm very intrigued by sharks. My mom hates it when I say that. She's like, Olivia, that's dangerous. And I'm like, but Mom.
That may say something about your personality.
But I'm open to anything, really. Yeah.
I've always been fascinated by marine mammals, by dolphins and whales, and of course, as I guess typical of environmental mind, But it's always fascinated to me because, that, like with dolphins and whales, apparently they have vestigial bones that point to the fact that at one time they were land animals, which means what could have caused a transition like that? Intelligent land mammals migrating to live in the ocean. That we still have so much to learn about this planet and how it came to be what it is.
Definitely.
And the ocean holds the key to, I guess, life began in the ocean and moved out, we think.
Yes. It's a mysterious place. It's so large, but I love it. I do.
Yeah. Okay. So, and before you came to Duke, what led you to go to Duke University?
Well, it's interesting. Being from North Carolina, I'm right outside of Charlotte, in the town of Huntersville. And my family, my mom especially, always loved Duke. And she always wanted me to come to Duke. And I always said, no, I don't want to go to Duke.
Does your family have a history of people who went to Duke?
My grandpa did for a brief while,
okay.
Before he actually, maybe this is problematic, but he went to all triangle schools, so Carolina and State, to finish out his degree and his higher level degrees. So, but yeah, so we had family at Duke, and then, my parents just knew it was a good school and wanted me to be in State. They love having me close to home, so they really encouraged it. And then I had been on campus before, and I wasn't sure if I loved it, but I got in, and all of a sudden I felt very excited about it. I couldn't explain it. And so I came for a weekend they have this thing called Blue Devil Days for students who got in. And I fell in love. I couldn't explain it, but I was like, this is where I belong. So it was really just a feeling more than anything else. And, it worked out really well because once I got there, I hadn't researched Duke too well. And so then I realized they have the Nicholas School of the Environment, and a lot of the environmental students take classes in there. So, all my classes are in this Nicholas School where there's very intelligent grad students. A lot of the professors are both undergraduate and graduate professors. And then I found that they have this very unique Center for Documentary Studies, which is different than what's offered at a lot of other campuses. So it really was the perfect intersection of what I was interested in, and I'm so grateful to be there now.
That's great. And the program that's paying for your internship is the Stand Back internship program through the Nicholas School of Science. And it's a great program. They fund many environmental organizational internships throughout the state, It's a very generous program, and the people, the standbacks, of course, are some of the greatest philanthropists in the state, in the country, actually. And it's just one that's helped the Canary Coalition. We've had interns for many years through that program, and it's always been always furthered our cause tremendously. And it's been great to have access to that. It's a long way, though, from from where you lived in Huntsville, which is a larger town, and now that's part of the problem we've always had is finding students who are willing to live in what's perceived as this environment. Once they get here, we found that they usually have a really great time, because there's actually a lot going on in this community of Silva that wouldn't be so apparent looking at it from the outside. But once you get into this community, there's a lot going on. Western Carolina University is just down the road. Asheville is not that far away, and of course Asheville is a mecca for great music and just a great scene. And UNCA is there as well, and there's all kinds of events that happen around there. But there is around here too. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is a great playground, just 20 miles away, and the Cherokee Indian Reservation. It's just a very historical context around this whole area, and I really hope that you get into that as when you're here, and it inspires you to even greater things than you have already been doing. Again, thanks for joining the Canary Coalition in this capacity, and we look forward to growing along with you as you're working with us.
Thank you.
So that's the program for today, and we'll see you tomorrow. No, we'll see you on Monday. Today is Friday, after all. So hopefully we will see you on Monday. And today, incidentally, is May the 4th, and May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, I agree.
We will see you on Monday. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you.